Well, hello ADs. Today we're going to go over quality visits. What is a quality visit? I know we talk about making an impact at our stores, and making an impact is our biggest tool as an area director. What do you do when you go to your stores? You're in your stores, you have for the most part 5 to 6 locations. So the biggest thing is for you to be impactful when you're going to a visit. Being impactful means influencing what they do in their day-to-day operations. Did I get something out of me going to that restaurant? One thing we don't want to do is go into our restaurants without a plan. So a great quality visit doesn't just start when we get to the store. A quality visit actually starts when we leave out, before we leave our house. We should be looking at our notes. We should be looking at metrics. And if we're going to store A or store B, we should know exactly what we saw the last time that we went to that store. Was it a dirty bathroom? Was it bad drive-through times? Was it customer service issues? We should know exactly what we encountered at that location before we go back. The worst thing you can do is go to a store without a plan of action before you get there. You should already know kind of sort of what you need to be looking for or what you need to be looking at. And looking at the things that you addressed the last time to see that they've improved. So what we're going to do is go through a quick walkthrough of some of the things that a quality visit consists of. Walking the parking lot, coming in, doing a figure 8 around the store, looking at the dining room, checking uniforms, just the different things. We're just going to go through it. Like I said, the whole point and one of our biggest tools is being impactful when we're doing our visits. You know, what are we doing? An impactful visit is not coming down in the restaurant, sitting on our laptop the whole time we're here, or coming in just to fix a piece of equipment, or getting on the back line just to help out. Those things are important, or going to borrow food. Those things are important, but are they quality visits? No, they're not. Those are just stop-ins, right? Rapid shops are bird's eye views of what's kind of going on. We get a kind of a feel, but not really a good idea of what's going on. The only way we'll get a good idea of what's going on if we're going into our stores and we're spending time in our stores. Not 30 minutes, 2 hours or more in our stores. Looking through the operations, on the back line, seeing what they're doing, checking all kinds of things. Stuff that we just can't spot check. So let's get started. All right, guys. So I made it outside in the parking lot. Technically, I'd be driving around, but I'm already here, and I have the luxury today to be at 806 Booth Road here in Warner Robins. Actually, Stacy is here, and Darren's here as well. So I'm out walking the parking lot, and I'll turn the camera around. So as AD, I'm walking, I'm looking at the whole thing, the parameter. I want to see everything I can. You know, I might make some dictations. You know, some of us have voice recorders on the phone. That's a good tool to use if you don't like a notebook. Most iPhones have it on there. You can just record the different things you see. Look at your drive-through. I see a bottle sitting there that needs to be picked up. I'm notating that. Even maybe, hey, stains here at the drive-through. Maybe it needs some pressure washing. A little scrub here or there. Trash dollar sitting out back. Don't like that. So I'm making a notation that, hey, let me tell somebody about that when I get in the store. Going out to the trash dumpster here. I'm looking around. Notice all this stuff is before I'm making any encounter with management in the store. I'm looking around at the dumpster. Of course, a couple of leaves, but it's not tragic. The door is closed. This is not bad at all. Even the curbing is not bad. Nothing crazy going on outside. I'm making notations. And if I'm getting something that really needs to be addressed, these are the things that I'm compiling together. So when I do make my first interaction with the leadership in the store, these are the things that I'm going to go over. I'm looking at the windows to see how they look. And this one right here needs a little wipe down. It's got a little pollen and dust on it. So I want to make a notation of that to make sure I go over that. I'm going to this window. The window's open. Should be closed. Love that 96 on the window. But not bad. You know, ketchup packet sitting there. Window could be wiped down some. A lot of dust on there. So these notations I want to make, right? I'm going around. I'm looking at the window sills. Could be wiped down. Just notations to look at. Different things. Notice that I'm not And I came out of the door on this side, so I'm making sure that I go right back in that door because I want to make sure that I walk the whole store, that I saw everything. Had a little high wind, so we got some leaves that have came over here, if you can see. Making notation of that. Now I'm getting into the store. All right, guys, so we walked the parking lot, and I got my transitions on so they look a little dark. And we made our notations. We saw some things that could be wiped down. We saw some things that we maybe need to address with management. So now that we're on the inside, we'll walk around first, and we'll go look in our bathrooms. And I'm just going to go in the men's bathroom, do a bird's eye check, look around. Toilets look pretty clean. Actually, it looks pretty good in here. Just make any notations that I would see. Again, a little piece of paper I want to hide back there. Walk out. I'm going to go in our lobby and check. Walk through, and I see Darren and Stacy out there looking around. I'm waving at the crew member here. Look at that smile. We're looking at the drink station, seeing if we see anything crucial that we need to point out. Again, I hadn't made contact with anybody in leadership as of yet. I'm still doing my walkthrough. Now we'll go on the back line. All right, so now that I'm on the back line, right, I did my dining room walkthrough, I did my bathroom walkthrough, and one of the hallmarks of a great area director is one that makes sure that they speak to their crew. So first thing I want to do is make sure I speak to everybody that I encounter on my way back. Good afternoon. How's everybody doing? Good. Y'all famous today. Y'all on TV. So, again, I made it through the back line. Talk to everybody I encounter. Make sure I'm speaking to everybody. Being cordial. How y'all doing? Good. You want to look at any kind of equipment issues that you may have. Again, we're not going to go through all that, but just you want to make sure that you're doing a good walkthrough. All right? And now's the time to start looking at things that maybe you encountered on the last visit that need some attention. Maybe you had, there was a product quality issue or something that they had. Or maybe it was uniforms on the last visit that you had. Or maybe it was, temp logs, something that we should be on. Checking temp logs, checking that they got the 6-week schedule posted in the offices they should have. You want to make sure that you notate any equipment issues. These are the things that we're doing before we even get started with anything else, right? And maybe at this point, I've just encountered crew members. I may not have encountered my manager just yet, but I'm getting all this stuff together so that when I finally get to talk to my manager, I can kind of have some things to kind of go over them real quick before we even have a recap call in our visit. Well, no, not yet. Well, so when you're on your visit, what you're looking for is, anything that you can see is not right and not consistent, right? So I'm looking and, I have Jakari right here. Nice fella. But if I look, dun, 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 and that cup is not in the right spot. So the first thing I want to do is address that. So I'll walk up to Jakari, on my visit and say, hey, kind of want to make sure we, keep our cups where we keep, supposed to keep cups. Just don't want them here. And then you don't just tell why, because we want to make sure that we're keeping our food away from customers' food, cross-contamination and all that good stuff. So we want to keep the 96 that we got on the wall there at 96. Other than that, you're spotting things, you're in the flow of things. I'm back here behind the line. Addressing any issues that I see. If I'm encountering anything like drive-through may not be running fast enough, or we run out of product during shift, or we see that we're not doing food checks as we should. And the only way we're going to see all this stuff is if we're in the line, in the flow of what's going on, checking things, right? I'm up here and product looks pretty good. But if I saw a product issue, a quality issue, I could address it hands-on right here at the same time. Also, it's a good time if we're on shift and we see them doing things the right way that we congratulate that kind of stuff, right? The whole point is that we're back here, and right now it's after lunchtime, so there's nothing really going on as far as guests per se. But it's our time as ADs to look around to see, hey, are they engaged with the team? Is downtime? What are they doing right now that we're having downtime, right? Are they cleaning? Are they getting ready for the next rush? And what can we do to coach that situation if we're not seeing the actions and activities that we think we should see? That's what I mean when I say we're being impactful, right? So make sure that we're looking at everything operational. Anything that you can give your GM or your shift manager or whoever's running shift to get them stronger and to get the results that you, I, and us as a brand that we need. Okay, so I've done my visit, right? I went, checked the parking lot, and we quote-unquote worked during shift. I observed everything I could back there and took some notations and whatnot so I could share with today my GM, because the GM's here. But if it's not the GM, it's whoever's running shift. So the shift's over, so now we're out here doing a recap. And so now I can go over maybe some findings or things that I saw. So Stacy had a pretty good visit today. The only thing I saw was the cashier had a drink cup in the wrong spot. A couple things that could be wiped down. But overall, store looks pretty decent. Operations ran pretty good. Food looks awesome. Everybody seemed attentive and nice. So keep up the good work, and I'll see you on my next visit.
Yes, sir.
So the whole point is to close it out. The least thing you want to do is go in a store and see some stuff, good or bad, and not say a thing before you leave. That's the whole point, right? The whole point is to be impactful. And you want it to be a good visit. And today's visit was good, but hey, sometimes it's not so good, and you have to sit and talk a little bit. But the whole thing is, remember, what did you see that wasn't right? Make sure you make notations, and the things that you saw that were right, make sure you celebrate them. I don't care how small it was, you celebrate. If they've been running a 400-second drive-through time and you come in as 380 seconds, celebrate 380 seconds. But the whole point is to make an impact. So always make sure that we're speaking to everybody like we notated. Make sure we're looking at everything that we can. The whole point is to get the store better and hopefully help our GM or whoever's running shift develop into the great manager that they can be. Thank you, guys. And remember, quality visits start as soon as you get up in the morning before you head out. Plan it. And y'all, let's be the best that we can be.